transaction and the Benami property, which is otherwise coded in the law in that manner only, are two different aspects. In every Benami transaction, there would be a Benami. In every Benami property, we do not know whether it satisfies the limits of Benami transaction or not. So the property may go unnoticed. It may even, if it is noticed, still it may not be attached. But the transaction is the one which is the most important, which is provided in section 2 in the subclause 9, subsection 9 of the Act. There are 4 limbs. I am not elaborating. I think it must have been elaborated. Why I wanted to point out that the initiating officer, when he initiates the proceeding and find out there is a Benami property which may include the proceeds of the Benami property, but even finding that there is a Benami property, there is something else. But he has to then satisfy himself with the Benami transaction. If the limbs clause A, clause B, clause C, clause D of subsection 9 of section 2 are made out or not, on that basis alone, the IU has to satisfy himself, then issue a notice under section 24(1), and that too with the previous approval of the approving authority again. Here, the notice which is issued, which is we call as show cause notice, is issued to the Benami, not to the beneficial owner. The notice to the beneficial owner is issued under section 24(2). Why I am pointing it out? There are two different part of the Benami transaction, two different type of the Benami transaction which are provided in section 29C and 29D. Where 2D is that where the beneficial owner is not present or is fictitious. 29V where the Benamidar is showing his unawareness or where the Benamidar is not aware. So in those cases, there would be interplay in section 24(1) notice and 24(2) notices. The notices, as I have seen in various cases, are uploaded because if the DIN number is there, if at all. Certainly, if the DIN number is not there, it won't be. Or then it is uploaded on the website. With that, you get the notice. You have the right to file a reply. There is a time barring limitation with the IU that he has to pass that order within a period of 90 days. Obviously, 90 days is counted with the end of that month in which the notice has been issued, so that he can get some more time to his privilege. Yes, sir.
Sir, in case the Benamidar has shifted his residence or office to some other place, will the issue of the notice will be sufficient for the
Sir, you have posed a question which relates to the facts. Let me just add something more in your question, which is, I think that may be the answer. The question is that who is the Benamidar? It's a company. He is actually a taxpayer. Was he filing the return or not? In a case where he is filing the return as an income tax practitioner, you all are aware that you are supposed to update your address on the website, on the portal. But if you are not a taxpayer, you are not someone who ever has paid the tax, in that case, the service of notice would be different. But if those cases where you are a taxpayer, you are supposed to update your address on your own, which was the legal requirement on a taxpayer, the cases would be different.
cases?
Then the circumstance and the case would be different, service would be different. A person who has never paid the tax, take him, Mr. X, a poor servant of Mr. Y. He has never paid the tax, he has an address, suppose he was residing on rent, working in Delhi, a manager type person may take it like. He has shifted from that house. Notice under section 24 is issued on the last known address of that person. The notice cannot be uploaded, it has to be sent by post. The post come back to the IU. I am so sorry for using the term IU, so initiating officer. It should not be misconstrued with the investigating officer. So the initiating officer or his office receive back that post. What will happen? The post is saying from the India Post, suppose we take it, that person left, no person reside, house is found locked. Many such factor may be notified by the postal man. In that case, certainly it's a responsibility of the IU to find out the new address or trace out the address. But after efforts, the IU is not able to find out. Then what will happen? Simply, he is acting as a civil court. The civil procedure court has the answer to that, which itself says in that case the notice can be affixed on the last known address. It may be got published in the local newspaper, Hindi and English, where he has lastly resided. With that, the service is complete, and General Clauses Act Section 26 would come into play, which says if the service has been affected on the last known address, it will be termed as the proper service. Yes, there may be case the Benamidara appears at some point of time before the authority, before the tribunal, even before the High Court, and says, "Sir, हमें तो कभी service हुई नहीं," and he shows something that he was residing in the next door house, or he was not, that address was incorrect, or like that. That would be a defense which he can create, can plead, can argue. But for the purpose of IU, the service on the last known address, and thereafter due efforts for those persons who were not supposed to update their details on the different portals, which is mandatory in nature, then the sufficient procedure as per CPC, the Civil Procedure Code, if followed, that is enough. And that's why many of times the other side plead, I would say the defendants like Benamidara beneficial owners plead that it has not been in accordance with the income tax rules. That it has to be done in terms of income tax rules. Obviously, the income tax rules are almost pari materia with the CPC. There is no but such wider difference. Even in the income tax also, you are supposed to serve the notice. There is no gainsaying in that there is something else which is supposed to be done in new. This is not a rocket science which is supposed to be followed by the IU. So they are following. If it is not followed, certainly you can take that lead. Am I clear, sir? So 2412 notice are issued. You are certainly have a right to file a response. In response, let me confess one thing, what I have seen at that point of time in many of such cases, either the party himself pleading individually or in his personal capacity, or through that pleader, maybe the lawyers or any. In those all cases I have seen at least 90%, at that juncture they don't ask for those relied upon documents which have been referred in that notice. They go whatever has been written and they go as per their documents available in their office or the files, and they believe on the same and then pursue themselves and then goes with the same without seeking for the documents. Certainly that can be sought. You are having the right to ask for the documents which have been either referred or relied upon. There is a difference between the referred documents and the relied upon documents. A general reference may also be made to a fact or a document, but that may not be a relied upon document, but still you can ask for this. So then 24(3) is the provisional to provisional attachment order, where at the stage of 24(1), that's the issuance of notice stage, the IU is of the belief or subsequent thereto, but before passing the final provisional attachment order, that's under section 24(4), the IU is of the belief that the party concerned may dispose of the property. In that case, provisional attachment order under section 24(3) is passed during the pendency of the proceedings before the IU, only after issuance of 24(1), not before that. It can be done only for that intermittent period of 90 days or less than that. So that notice is, that order may be passed by the IU. If it is passed, then the order will be passed in the different provisions as section 24, section 4, clause 8. And if such order under section 24(3) is not passed, then it will be passed, then the order will be passed, the final provisional attachment order will be passed under section 24(4), clause B of the Act. So there are the two kind of orders. It doesn't matter that even if there is a order which is passed under section 24(3) or not, but the 24(4) order is something which is to be passed. The order may be only of two nature. Either its attachment is done or not done. The IU has no 3/3 option. Then if that order has been passed, within a period of 90 days from the from the last day of the month in which the previous notice was issued, IU has to draw a reference under section 24 subsection 5, send a reference to the concerned adjudicating authority. There are 4 adjudicating authorities throughout the country. Earlier, prior to the amendment of 2021, there was only one place where the authority was sitting, that is in Jeevan building, Parliament Street, headed by at least 2 members as per the unamended Act of 2021. Prior to the same, 1 member finance, 1 member judicial, or a chairperson. Now, it is the competent authorities, SAFEMA, the Smugglers Act related to the competent authority, which is created, has been entrusted with the jurisdiction to adjudicate the cases related to Benami Act as well. So, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, 4 jurisdictions, different states have been assigned to them. Like Delhi takes care of North India, I must say. The Middle India and the Western India is being taken care by the Mumbai authority. The southern part is being taken care by the Chennai, and the eastern part up to Odisha is being taken care by the East Authority. The authority, which is having jurisdiction under section 26 of the Act, has very wider jurisdiction. Again, it's also an authority having the civil court jurisdiction in terms of the Act itself. The authority will have to issue a notice to the concerned parties. Again, 26(1) notice is to be issued, which is to be served, and at least open 30 days time is to be given to the concerned party to whom the notice has. The IU will be called upon to file his response to the reply, and then on that basis, whatever the pro and cons, the case is decided. There are 2 more provisions which are available to the authority, which is not available to the IU. It is the addition and deletion of the parties. The authority, the adjudicating authority, has that jurisdiction to add anyone, to delete anyone, sift them, make them from Benamidar to beneficial owner as well. If the authority is of the view, it is so there. And in that also, the authority finds there is some more property which is available, which could be Benami property, or the property which has been attached is not the Benami property, there is some else property which is Benami property. The authority can also add, amend in that manner. The 2 provisions are important for that purpose, section 26(5) and section 26(6) of the Act. One of the such case was held, I would say, argued by me recently with the tribunal as well. That was the Axis Bank case related to Ahmedabad, multiple cases, where initially when 2017, we launched the references. Those was around 17 references related to around 500 or 700 odd crore rupees. The transaction was more, but it was. In those cases, we termed the Benamidar differently or beneficial owner differently, the property was also different. But during the pendency of those proceedings before the authority, we received some scientific information in terms of FSL report, some data which was retrieved from the hard disk of that party's computer. We come to know there is something else. On that basis, we filed an application. The opposition was that you should have withdraw your reference, file a new one, but we contested. On that basis, the reference was confirmed that it has been argued. It is now pending for final order before the Honorable Tribunal. So that may be settled down by, and thereafter the Supreme Court may also settle down. But yes, I can point out that the parties have gone to the Honorable High Court of Gujarat, where they could not get anything. But why I do not want to point out for that purpose, just wanted to point out how this act enforces itself. Whether the authority has their jurisdiction, can change. Changing a party, shifting a party is very difficult and different issue. Like in criminal law, section 319 CRPC was there, which is now amended, reintroduced through VSSS, what we say, Bharati Nagrik Sakshi Sanhita, Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, VNSS, I'm so sorry. So there also, even the criminal court at the stage of trial or any other appropriate stage can add a person who has been left by police or the investigating agency as an accused. Still the criminal court, based upon the document or the evidence available before him or her, can add that party as an accused or offender Likewise, that kind of jurisdiction has been given. In civil law, this jurisdiction is available to every civil court, that is called as Order 1 Rule 10 CPC, where the parties can be impleaded or can be deleted. So that is the similar jurisdiction from criminal law and civil law have been gathered together and have been brought in single provision under section 26(5) of this PUPTI. Yes, sir.
Sir, in case the party Binamida, he is dead, will the case be initiated against the legal heirs also?
Yes, sir. Only the adjudication purpose, not for the purpose of prosecution.
Not for the purpose of?
Prosecution.
So prosecution can't be done, but for?
Yes, that's the basic civil law. That's the settled position of law. Or civil proceedings can be initiated against the legal heirs. It's like an asset. The person's asset or the liabilities can be recovered from the, or can be adjudicated through the legal heirs, the successional interest, but the criminal proceeding cannot.
But sir, in case that person had already sold the property, will that be?
Yes, sir. Doesn't matter. The property may not be there. It has been now converted into proceeds, and the proceeds are covered within the Binami transaction, Binami property. But for the purpose of adjudication, principle of natural justice is supposed to be followed. How it will be followed? That party must be given a notice. Party is no more. He's died. Who can plead on his behalf? He cannot be. This cannot be decided that he's a Binamidar without hearing him. We cannot shy away from our responsibility as the authorities to not to give that person a right to be heard. How he will be heard? A dead person can also be heard through his legal heirs because they are the one who can plead on his behalf. At least not less than 100 cases of such nature have already been adjudicated, sir, where the legal heirs were served with the notice under section 24(1) and they represented themselves. Some of the cases they could not represent themselves, some of them they are representing themselves, so it is like that. And let me just tell you how. Mr. X is a tribal person residing in Chhattisgarh. In Chhattisgarh, there are certain lands which cannot be acquired by a common person. They are meant to be purchased only by a tribal person. And only a tribal person can purchase, can deal with those properties. Mr. Bai, now again, Mr. Bai, he wanted to do some mining in that area or do some other work, and he wanted to purchase that property. He can't purchase the property. So he purchased that property in the name of Mr. X when he was alive. And Mr. X is now no more. The department comes to know that it's a Binami transaction. This property could not have been purchased in the name of Mr. X first of all, and the transaction which it has been carried out is a sham transaction and it's an arrangement. Even if he has been introduced as a partner in the firm, etc., there are many multifold, I would say, layering which may be done in the Binami transaction cases. Then Mr. X is no more, Mr. Bai is doing all these things. Mr. X son or daughter, suppose X1, X2, they are there. I will serve a notice to Mr. X1, X2. They are the one who can come to the court, can plead on their behalf, they can tell, yes, their father was working with Mr. Y. It is for their benefit, the property was purchased, and we were receiving the benefits out of this transaction in terms of the investment which had been made on this property through the mining, rent, or through other basic, and therefore we are the bona fide person. There is no Binami transaction in this case, sir. At the same point of time, for government side, if I say, they can come and say, no, our father has never gone. We do not know who is Mr. Bai. This account doesn't belong to me. This land doesn't belong to me. There is that land. We have not seen the land at all. So it may be either way. It may be for the department's purpose. It may be for the party, the Binamida or the beneficial owner's purpose. But it has to be served. That's important. And he has to be heard for that purpose. Hearing does not mean he should be brought to the authority. Hearing means he should be given a notice. He may plead, he may not. So that is, I would say, the answer to your query, sir, if it's okay. So I was on 26, 26. I must share with you, there is a decision of the Delhi High Court, Justice Bakur's order in Sudha Gupta versus Union of India. Before that, the authority the erstwhile 2021 prior to that authority, was adjudicating the cases and also referring the technical flaws in the order, and rather dropping the proceedings on those technical flaws, like some sections has not been properly coded, incorrect provision has been coded, the department was also new, it was also coping with the various issues. So there were certain errors which were apparent on the face of the same, and on that basis the proceedings were being dropped. But the Honorable High Court in that case has said that the authority is only supposed to adjudicate only either two ways. Either it's a benami transaction or not. That's all. It's not supposed to go in the legal flaws or the legal issues. So that provision of law as it is to today is settled. Certainly if there is no notice at all, then it's not a legal flaw. It's a fatality. So there is a difference between the flaw and the fatality. The fatality cannot be ignored, flaws can be ignored. That is why section 63 of the Act is also important, which may be referred for this purpose. Then, based upon the same, the authority passes the final order. Suppose terminate the reference, the department has the jurisdiction to file an appeal before the Honorable Tribunal, Appellate Tribunal, or if the reference is confirmed, the other side can file to the Appellate Tribunal. There is a time barring provision, etc., which I do not want to know, that it will not be in the enforcement. The last part of the enforcement would be the confiscation proceedings. The confiscation is the end of the benami proceedings. Till the provisional attachment order is confirmed by the adjudicating authority, or even it is reconfirmed by the traveller, the property still remains in the hand of the person who is holding that property, be it movable, immovable, whatsoever. Obviously, that person cannot transfer that property because section 6 of the Act would come and play, which bar the transfer of the property if it is already benami property. Subject to that, if the property, you are enjoying your property, the attachment has been confirmed, how does it matter? What is affecting you? Nothing. It's on the paper alone. Nothing is being taken away from you. Only that it's a house, you cannot sell it. But that does not mean something is going out of your hand. There, the confiscation proceedings take place. Like PMLA section are there. In the confiscation proceedings, that's section 27 of the Act, and there are 2-3 relevant issues with respect to the confiscation. First, as to when the confiscation will take place. Would it take place soon after the 26(3) order, the order passed by the authority? Or it is after the Appellate Tribunal's order? Or it is after 24(4) order passed by the IU? It takes place the moment the adjudicating authority under section 26(3) confirms the provisional attachment. There is no need, or the IO or the officer will not wait for the outcome of the tribunal's order. If the appeal is filed, the Act itself says, the first provision of the section 27(1) says that the confiscations shall be subject. सर आप बताएं कैसे चाहिए आपके साथ?
मतलब कि कौन से केसेस अभी आपने अभी बोला था कि काफी केसेस अभी जो हैं वो आने वाला डिसीजन आने वाले हैं एपेलेट के अंदर
सर ट्राइब्यूनल्स के एटलीस्ट डिसीजन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द फिड्यूशियरी कैपेसिटी बिकॉज़ देयर इज अ डिसीजन ऑफ द ट्राइब्यूनल ऑन फिड्यूशियरी कैपेसिटी जैसे जितिन पुजारी and before the initiating officer Chennai case in which the tribunal has adjudicated in different manner where the cash and the seizures were made with respect to bullion in the hands of different benamidars who were the employees of that concerned party. The tribunal took a decision, yes, they are the fiduciary capacity cases, so should be ignored. But thereafter, in the Jitin Pujari, para 21, if I'm not wrong, 20 or 21, the tribunal has carved out an exception that if the fiduciary relations, the fiduciary capacity is being sought, it should be for the purpose of legitimate, not illegitimate. Why I say so? If sir has because fiduciary is now a hot talk between the lawyers and the CAs who are before the tribunals and before the authority. Salabji would agree, and they are at least on day-to-day basis it is being argued. Let me just put a question to myself. Answer is in your head or mind. There is no need to give it, but please keep it. Sir, let me in my मातृभाषा. बेनामी है क्या? करते कौन थे? मेरे पास पैसे हैं, मैं सरकारी आदमी, IAS ऑफिसर, TCS भी हो सकता हूँ, वैसे तहसीलदारों के पास भी होते हैं, बल्कि मैंने एक भोपाल का केस किया है, दैट पर्सन वाज लेखकार, व्हाट इज दैट, पटवारी टाइप से, so he had the wealth of 390 crores.
390 crores?
Yes. नहीं है सर, हाँ नहीं, मिस्टर धारीवाल की, आप दूसरे वाले में सोच रहे होंगे, मिस्टर धारीवाल।
गुड़गांव में पटवारी है रवि
सर, गुड़गांव बहुत बड़ी है सर, भोपाल और गुड़गांव में बड़ा फर्क है। गुड़गांव का तो सर पटवारी तो छोटी चीज़ है, गुड़गांव का तो जो PN होगा उसके ऑफिस का वो भी तो बड़ा हो सकता है, 5 करोड़ का। गुड़गांव है सर, Gurgaon is not India, it's outside India for the purpose of land, I believe. So, generally transaction क्या है fiduciary? मेरे पास पैसे हैं, अब मैं किसके पास रखवाऊँ? आपके पास नहीं रखवाऊँगा, आपको जानते नहीं, पड़ोसी के पास भी रखवा सकता है, वो तो चलता है मुझसे ऑलरेडी, दोस्त के पास रखवाऊँगा, हो सकता है भाग जाए, मैं रखवाऊँगा उसके पास जिस पे मेरा कंट्रोल है,
जिससे वापस मिल जाए,
जिसे वापस मिल जाए, यही तो फिड्यूशरी है। What is the definition of fiduciary? In CBSC, Supreme Court said in 1977 or 87. Fiduciary means a relation where there is a mutual trust between them. तो मैं जितनी भी नामी ट्रांजेक्शन होंगी वहाँ फिड्यूशरी रिलेशन होगा। मैं किसी और के नाम नहीं खरीदूंगा, मैं उसी नाम में खरीदूंगा जिसमें मैं विश्वास करता हूँ, जिसमें कंट्रोल करता हूँ, जिसको मैनेज कर सकता हूँ और जो मुझे अपना मानता है इंडियन टर्म्स में। तो फिर सारे केसेस बेनामी में नहीं आएंगे, कोई बेनामी ट्रांजेक्शन ही नहीं, खत्म बात। आप किसी और नाम प्रॉपर्टी ले ही नहीं सकते सर, किसी और नाम कोई चीज खरीद ही नहीं सकते, आप अपने के नाम खरीदते हो। अपना does not mean your own blood or your own flesh, it may be anyone to whom you trust, you believe. So the fiduciary which is being sought to be achieved by way of arguments by different, I would say, very intelligent counsels is not correct. I am not saying just for that purpose because I represent the government and government feed me for that purpose. It is not for that purpose I am saying. I am saying only for the to save the law in this regard, and we cannot ignore the law. Fiduciary is one where the benefit was not only for that person who is doing this, it is also for the purpose for in whose name this property is being kept, or to avoid any uncertainty, any other mishappening like what? पुराने जमाने से लेके चलते हैं, शादियाँ होती थी सर, बड़ी बड़ी दूर जाना पड़ता था, किसी के पास बैलगाड़ी थी, किसी के पास रॉल्स भी थी, ऐसी बात नहीं। 1930s, 20s, 40s लोग जाते थे, गोल्ड लेके जा रहे हैं, डायमंड लेके जा रहे हैं, बहुत होते थे, सोने की चिड़िया थी हमारे देश। एंड वहाँ जाके देखा कि शादी वादी हो गई, चोर आ सकते हैं, डकैत आ सकते हैं, होती थी, तो वो किसी के पास सेफ रखवा दी, भाई तुम रख लो, मैं जब वापस जाऊँगा ले जाऊँगा। That is fiduciary relations. So I, who is entrusting my property in name of some other person or keeping it for the safe custody with that person, has this accounted property with me. कैश पैसा रखवाना भी गुनाह नहीं। आज मेरे पास 5 करोड़ रुपए मेरे बैलेंस शीट में दिख रहे हैं, कैश पड़ा है मेरे पास, मैंने उठा के मिस्टर बाई के पास रखवा दिया, मुझे कहीं बाहर चलना था, या ठीक है मेरे घर में जगह नहीं, मैंने कहीं और रखा दिया, ऐसे नहीं है रखा दिया। बट व्हेन द सर्च टेक प्लेस, द डिपार्टमेंट कम्स and 5 crore rupees are required, I show that yes, this money doesn't belong to Mr. Benamidar at whose premises the money has been found. This money belongs to Mr. Beneficial owner. You are claiming so, and please see my balance sheet. This 5 crore rupees is standing outstanding. और 2 दिन पहले मैंने धंधा किया था, दुकान की चलाई थी, मेरा ऐसा काम है जहाँ पे 5 करोड़ रुपए आए थे, मेरे कैश रहा, उसकी रसीदें नहीं सारी, इनवॉइसेस है। When it is accounted, then only you can claim the fiduciary relationship. Per se with respect to the individuals. I am not still talking about the directors in the company a director. I am not talking about the partnership in a partner. I am not talking about the trustee in a trust. They are the special cases for the purpose of individuals who have nothing to do with those trust, etc. In those cases, the fiduciary relationship stands in a different manner. You have to show this is for the legal purpose, accounted else, etc. Then only you can take the benefit. Otherwise तो ठीक है, you say this is मेरी प्रॉपर्टी कैसे मिल रही है? सर अकाउंटेड भी बेनामी हो सकती है, मैं बताता हूँ कैसे। मैं इसका जवाब छोड़ दूँ। अकाउंटेंट बेनामीदार से मतलब ये है, एक ड्यूरिंग एक इसमें इलेक्शन चल रहा है या नहीं भी चल रहा है, मेरा व्यक्ति कुछ पैसे लेके जा रहा है, हु इज माई सर्वेंट एंड ही इज कॉट, तो money has been found held in the name of that person who is carrying that cash. Carrying that cash, he is holding that property, he is caught. वो कहेंगे जी पैसा तो तुम्हारा है, presumption ये आएगी आज के इनकम टैक्स एक्ट के हिसाब से, ये जो पैसा है जिसके हाथ में उसका पैसा है. But Mr. Bai comes say नहीं भैया मेरा पैसा मैंने ऐसे से दिया था, there is the exception. So then the fiduciary would comes to play. अकाउंटेंट होना सिर्फ उसका डिफेंस है सर, अकाउंटेंट नहीं है तो ऑब्वियसली देयर इज नो डिफेंस. दैट्स व्हाई आई सेड फॉर फिडुशियरी द ओनली डिफेंस इज द लीगल अकाउंटेंट इनकम. और लीगल अकाउंटेंट इनकम भी अपने आप में नॉट इनफ फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ बेनामी ट्रांजेक्शन. व्हाई? इफ द ट्रांजेक्शन इज बीइंग टेकन प्लेस and it's a sham arrangement. This is what the Ganpati Dealcom Supreme Court write it down in various words, and the Parliament witnessed the speech of Jaitley Sahab and recorded this object and regions. The accounts may be created, the documents may be maintained to enter into the transaction. You can create various accounts, ledgers, entries. You can create a web. That is why if we go by the same, that is why the basic principle of lifting the corporate wheel comes to operation. Otherwise, the Company Act is there. The company is a separate legal entity. The director has nothing to do with the same. There also everything is accounted and recorded. But is it available? No. SFIO is behind those companies. ED is also behind them. So don't go by this misnomer. That is my entry is made, it is so accounted, I have kept the records, so I am okay. It's not like that. The basic purpose of the investigation is to find the actual nature of the transaction. It is not to go the transaction which are not properly managed. It is also for those cases where the transaction has been properly managed. So where the proper arrangement is there, is still the arrangement comes to play. That is why section 2 subsection 9 clause 8 talks about a transaction / or an arrangement. So we can ignore a transaction, but we cannot ignore the arrangement. So there may be cases of arrangement where the transaction is otherwise there. I think, is there any question? My time is over, my colleague is waiting.
Whether this cash which has been confiscated,
yes, sir,
can it be used for the adjustment out of the income tax demand on the beneficial owner?
No, sir. Because that's not your money now. The confiscation means it has gone to the central government. You have no ownership on that cash. It is
the beneficial owner is claiming that it is my money.
Yes, sir.
But he has not disclosed in the income tax return.
Doesn't matter, sir. If a cash is found, beneficial owner comes to say that sir, ये मेरा पैसा है, ठीक है भैया, okay, that's okay. You please have accepted it. There is no need for the department to argue much now. Our case is simple, straight. We have to just point out that he is admitting this position. The money belongs to him. Benami transaction is enough, sir. It is to be considered. If I say, when I actually did my law, prior to that, I did my law in 2006, but many of lawyers who have been, you would say, decades ago, from then and in today's time, or not today's, I would say 10 years back's time. It is not those general transactions which is understood and being considered. Like simple case है, धन पैसा दिया बात खत्म नहीं जी. There are the other features which are involved. Otherwise, what is the purpose of, like, let me give the example of money laundering. You commit a crime, you commit a theft. I'm not saying a person commits a theft, or with that theft, sell the gold, earn 10 lakh rupees. Police reaches at the spot. Police arrest him. He made a disclosure statement. Based upon the disclosure statement, he led the police to the place of recovery. He led to X place. From the place, a trunk is kept. From the trunk, that cash is recovered. The entire money. Police seizes that money. the property becomes the case property, the money will go to the actual owner of that property. Okay, sir? Now, two things. Now that actual owner who comes to the court saying कि भैया ये पैसा मेरा मुझे release कर दो, as per the protocol rules which is applicable throughout the country, this National Financial Reporting Authority, the NFRA, according to same, if the cash is involved, you have to report to the income tax authorities. So the IO at the time when the 10 lakh rupees is being required is reporting to the income tax authorities. Income tax authorities comes to know 10 lakh rupees, the owner of that property at whose premises the theft took place goes to the criminal court through the lawyer, file an application for superdari to release that money. Money belongs to him undoubtedly. Here the Income Tax Act comes, and income tax authorities would go to the court saying this, नहीं जी पैसा नहीं रिलीज करना है, हम पता कर रहे हैं पैसा किसका है. वो कह रहा पैसा मेरा है, हाँ जी मानिए, पर ये पैसा अकाउंटेड नहीं था, क्योंकि ये 10 लाख तक तो हम अटैच नहीं कर सकते, 50 लाख 60 लाख 70 लाख का है. मैं सेक्शन 132A इनकम टैक्स एक्ट के क्लॉज G, C और जो एक और क्लॉज है उसको हवाला देते हुए वारंट ऑफ ऑथराइजेशन PDIT साहब ने इशू कर दिया, एंड दिस मनी कम्स टू मी नाउ इन द PD अकाउंट, एंड देन द एजुकेशन विल टेक प्लेस. देयर आल्सो अ लिंब ऑफ बेनामी कि पता नहीं वो पैसा वो 10 लाख उसके पास भी कहां से आया था. उधर तीसरा भी रह गया सर, वो रह गया मनी लॉन्ड्रिंग उस थेफ्ट के ऊपर, थीप के ऊपर, कि उसमें 10 लाख रुपए मैं छोटे बताए थे, उसको थोड़ा बड़ा करना पड़ेगा, कुछ तो खर्चा करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, तो वो सपोज वो 1 करोड़ रुपए था और उसने 25 लाख रुपए उसने इन्वेस्ट कर लिए. उसने समझदार था, एक छोटा सा फ्लैट ले लिया. देन 25 लाख रुपए वाला जो फ्लैट है वो आईओ ने उसको अटैच कर लिया पुलिस वाले ने, कह के क्लेमिंग दिस इज आउट ऑफ स्टोलन प्रॉपर्टी सेक्शन 1411 ऑफ IPC, और इन केस ऑफ डकैती इट विल बी सेक्शन 412. वो वहां अटैच कर लिया, वो केस प्रॉपर्टी बन गई. इधर बेनामी वाले PMLA वाले कहेंगे ये तो मनी थी जो विच इज लॉन्ड्रेड मनी, सो वी हैव टू अटैच इट. एंड उसी समय थीप ने क्या किया, चूंकि उसको पता था मैं तो चोरी का काम करता हूं, मैं तो पकड़ा जाऊंगा, जेल भी जाना पड़ेगा, ये घर को कौन संभालेगा, उसने उस चक्कर में अपने एक दोस्त के नाम प्रॉपर्टी ली थी, तो बेनामी भी आ गया. सो एन एक्ट में हैव several consequences and does not mean that if one is satisfied or one is met it's to its logical end, the 2 or 3 will go its own, they will remain then and there. What can be done? There is no double jeopardy. Double jeopardy is to be understood in true sense what the Constitution of India says, Article 20 clause, that if it cannot be punished for the same offence twice, but where the offence is punishable in different acts, this is not the same offence. He can be punished twice, thrice, or more than that, whatever it is. And the consequences can be like that. Anything else, sir? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.